Anyway, I tell you what is hurting at the moment, and that's Billy. His heart and his head. His head for different reasons than his heart. But Geelong, it was a very, very disappointing performance, as it would be for any team that makes it through to the grand final. And unfortunately, Bill, you've been there, done that on a number of occasions. Going to cross up the Damo in a tick, but Billy, does it take you back to your own heartbreak?
Well, it does. You think about this, and the boys will think about this, and Lordo knows this also, that, mate, when you're in a position, they're hard to get to, they're hard to win, and when you're in a position to win, 15 points up, should have probably been maybe 25, 30 points up at half-time, and then let Richmond back in and then get beaten pretty easily in the end. It's really, really disappointing. But proud of the club for what they've done. 110 days, I know Richmond did it too, but up there, they've worked really hard. But I don't know, will they be back there? Can they get back there? They're going to lose some older players, aren't they?
Oh, they're in a great position. We're interested to chat to Damo about what they do from here, because I know it can be an unforgiving time when you lose prelims or grand finals, but they did look slow after half-time. I'm interested, as Ablett's retired, what do you see happening with Taylor, Henderson? Who do they bring in on top of Jeremy Cameron?
Yeah, Lord, those questions I refrained from answering last night and all week. Harry Taylor didn't want to address it, but it's a highly unlikely. I'd say it's a 90% chance he will follow Ablett out the door, and that will be in keeping with how he has managed himself throughout his career to do it behind the scenes. I think Henderson also too will certainly have a consideration around whether he goes on. Look, I've witnessed firsthand the bond that group has had, Lordo, over staying with them at the Royal Pines, or some of them. And look, the emotions poured out last night. There are a lot of red eyes who walked across the Gabba after the game to their bus to get back to their hotel accommodation. And Chris Scott reflected that when he broke down at his own press conference, dealing with the toils of the year.
If there's a dignified way to go down, it's going down against the best. So we knew we had to play really well to get over them tonight, and it looked for decent parts of the game as if we were good enough, but in the end they were just too good, so congratulate them. But even though we fell short tonight, I'm still really proud of them, and I hope that our supporters are as well. Okay, help me out.
And Geelong, as he just breaks down there, as Damo said, they've been the best two sides for the last two seasons, and just the missed opportunities that haunt you in footy. And you go back to the prelim final last year where they lead by 22 at half-time. Last night they kicked 5 goals in a row, Bill, to lead by 22 again, and had complete control of the game. Now, it just haunts you for a long time to get that close but to feel so far away from it. And they've done a lot right, but in the end we celebrate Richmond, and Geelong, with the brutal nature of our game, get absolutely nothing out of the last 2 seasons.
So, Kane, I want to ask you then, what would you do with they've got 3 first-rounders, they've got Jeremy Cameron coming in, Sean Higgins, would you bring him in? How would you, what would you do in the off-season from a list management perspective?
Well, I'm with you. I think they're in a really good position. I mean, to get Jeremy Cameron, it just gives them so much flexibility while Hawkins is in as good a shape. And they were forced to play Dangerfield forward last night. If Jeremy Cameron's in that forward line, that's not the case. And Dangerfield's playing midfield minutes in that third quarter rather than somewhat being wasted at full forward. Higgins, I'm okay with that. If he doesn't cost you a lot, he brings in class.
And that's effectively done the way it's been told too. So you can lock him in.
And he's the instant replacement for Gary Ablett. You know, he's almost an upgraded version with the way that he's at his career, that stage. But then you go to the draft. I think free agency, they want Cameron for nothing. That's the nature of free agency. So I wouldn't be giving up those first-round draft picks to get him.
Yeah, and they've actually given up picks in the past when they haven't had to with the Dangerfield transaction. So I reckon they will play hardball on the Cameron deal and get him, as Kane said, for nothing via the free agency.
Kane, were you surprised that Dangerfield didn't go into the midfield more after half-time? It was working early. He kicked the goal. He missed a couple, but he looked like he was getting a fair bit of a look at it in that first quarter, particularly the first quarter and a half. But after half-time, when Richmond started to get going, it felt like they needed him not only in the forward end, but they also needed him in the midfield to kick-start a second half, particularly like the way Dustin Martin did just before half-time.
You almost can't win, can you, Brownie? Because it works so well in the first half, and it really stretched Richmond's defence. They took 7 marks inside 50 to 1 in the first half, and it's working. I'm more furious about him playing full forward in the third quarter and then coming off to the bench. I mean, there was 25 minutes to go in the season, and you've got the best player in the comp or best 2 players in the comp playing full forward, going in the interchange bench. I would have then injected him to the midfield rather than go to the bench, get Dangerfield into the midfield for that last 8 minutes of the third quarter when he was, having a break on the interchange bench.
Yeah, well said. Hey, Gary Ablett, we've just got to say thank you to the superstar, of course, there he is with Jordo. But what a champion has been. 357 games, 445 goals, 8 All-Australians, 5 MVPs voted by the players. And well done to Richmond Footy Club for lining up here. They've just won the premiership, and they were very good of them to do this. And 2 Brownlows, 2 premierships. He's loved, probably nearly the most loved player, isn't he?
Well, 5 MVPs would suggest he's got a
But supporters,
And Bill, that moment last night when Richmond did wait for him, it was really a powerful moment, amongst many powerful moments for the whole night, because they wanted to get off and at least do their lap of honour, but they waited minutes while Ablett was with his family initially and then moved across. And look, it was as significant an outcome what happened there post-match as what happened during the game itself from an Ablett perspective.
I was just watching that. It was Jack Revolt. He walked over to Paddy Dangerfield and said, we want to actually give a send-off. So how can we go about it? So really well done from the top.